Yeah, I'm back on my channel. They took me off for 2 weeks. I said the wrong things. YouTube don't like, so I was out of order. I put something on for a couple of minutes or even a couple of seconds, took it off, and they didn't like it, so they gave me a strike. But I don't blame them. Yeah. Anyway, yesterday I see a video of Jefferson King and my mate Mr. Woodall. And anyway, so let's start off with about Jeff. Yeah, um, I met Jeff years ago in a place called Central Park. I was looking after a club in Central Park. I was looking after the wine bar and a club upstairs, big club upstairs, where people used to come from East Acton, Labatt Grove, and there's always trouble because they all meet together. They don't really get on with each other. South Acton, and East Acton, and Labatt Grove, Alan Burns, and all them sort of people, and Johnny Anland, and the Marshies and Petersons. They don't really get on with us lot in South Acton. So there was always trouble there. Always trouble. But I could handle it because a lot of people respected me for who I am, and they knew I was a fighter, and they knew I'd come back later, so they respected me. But it was getting to the stage where I couldn't really handle upstairs as well as downstairs. So Johnny Lawrence, my mate, who owned it, with a guy called Willie Wills, who owned that place, they decided to get a big guy. So I didn't know. I was on the door one night, and this guy came up to the door. He was absolutely ginormous. He had glasses, massive shoulders, tall. Walked to the door. Johnny Lawrence greeted him in. This is Jefferson King from Gladiators, and this, that, and the other. Anyway, loved it. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So he worked there for a couple of weeks. There was no problems. We handled it nicely. Yeah. And one night, there's all the acting lot. My mate Gary Francis, my mate Craig from Shepherd's Bush, Craig, and a few other people. Yeah. Matty Howard, being Chelsea, one of the Chelsea that time had done, as he brought a lot of people up there, and they caused him problems. So it kicked off big time. Bottles, glasses, fight. It was going mad. Chairs across the head. It was off. So I went upstairs. Jefferson King's behind me. I went into the club. Gary Francis, my mate, picked a bottle up, threw it, and it hit me on the head. Boom, knocked me down. You know what I mean? Blood poured from my head. And we got up and started fighting. So was fighting, knocking people out. Matty Howard is on the floor. Matty Howard, whether or not what happened, I don't know, but he's on the floor. Jefferson King, I'm throwing him out. Jeff is dragging him down the stairs. Fair play, Jeff's doing his job. There's two brothers here, Andy Burke and John Burke. They come from South Acton, and they are nutcases. Without a shadow of doubt, they are absolutely lunatics. Jefferson King got a gun put in his mouth, pooed himself more or less, and the brothers run out. I come out of the club, see it, they run. Right? Jefferson King doesn't realise how lucky he was, yeah, because these two brothers, Andy Burke, in the Crown pub in South Acton, a lot of people on my channel would know this. Andy Burke put the same gun into someone's mouth and blew the back of his head off, yeah? Put it in his mouth. And Jefferson King was that lucky that it never happened to him. Only 2 days after he'd done that, I think he'd done 20 odd years, 22, 23 years, wound up in Broadmoor, all sorts of nut houses, Andy Burke, And he's still a bit, I don't know if he's dead now or what, yeah, but I know he's on loads of meds, if he's still alive, yeah. So Jefferson King went his own way, yeah, working, Ealing, other clubs and doing bits and pieces. Never heard much about him. Asked John what's that. He said, no, he don't like the club. He's not into the club, mate. There's too much aggro for him, that sort of things. In the city, you don't really get that sort of, you might have a fight, but people don't pull out handguns and big choppers and things like that, It's more sensible. It's West London, it's a bit mad, yeah? Anyway, so Jeff's gone, and next thing I hear, Jeff's on the crack in Southall, really, really bad, yeah? He's on the crack. But I've seen him a couple of times. He was working out in my mate's club, Gary Francis club called G's Gym in Pope's Lane. Big club, Jeff was in there. I see him now and again walking down there, big shoulders, yeah? All right, Jeff. And Jeff was my mate. He was a pal of mine, Jeff, you know? We got on really, really well. And he got involved with the gear big time, the crack. Well, not only did Jeff got involved with it, Jeff was involved with it for 2 years or 3 years, I don't know. But I was on crack for 8 years. 8 years I was on crack, you know. So you can imagine, I know what Jeff's went through, but I had a lot of money anyway, but Jeff didn't have that much money, so he was always asking for money. He was always asking for money. He was always doing a bit of enforcer work to get money to pay for his crack. And crack, I didn't know. It's only that I found out from watching that podcast last night that Jeff was also on brown. I didn't know that, yeah. But I wonder why Jeff looked so bad, and that's how they are on brown. Yeah, they got the pot. They're sick all the time and all that, yeah. So when I started to see Jeff around Southall, around them areas, he looked rough, mate. He looked a mess. He looked a mess. Anyway, I got put away for an IPP, but I was in a place in the Connerby unit in the Scrubs, a drugs unit. Yeah, I worked there. I was under crack, but I wanted to go in there. They got me a job. I worked in there, and I wasn't on no drugs. Wouldn't take nothing there. Wouldn't take a thing. All of a sudden, Jefferson King come in one night, you know. And I couldn't believe it. I said, all right, Jeff, you know. And Jeff used to start going down the gym with me in the Scrubs. And Jeff was the same thing, strong, powerful, lifting weights and all this, that and the other. But then he got let out. I'm still in there, yeah. And then he come back again, you know. And I don't remember, I think I might have left, but he was on the wing and they took him to the Conner Bear, yeah. But he was in a bad way, Jeff. He was in a bad way. Really bad. So anyway, I then come off my IPP. I kept hearing things about Jeff when I was doing my bird. I've done 23 years of my IPP. Even though I've done 10, 12 years in prison, I've still done it all outside on the road, which is actually worse than being in prison, believe it or not. You know, there's things you just can't do, you know. You rather stay in your house being in like prison, because you go on the street and do something wrong, you're going to get a recall, and a recall, you're going to get maybe 2.5 years recall. So it's better off just to white your mouth and stay indoors, which I did for 10 years or 12 years of it, yeah. But one day, I'm on my IPP, don't forget, I get a knock at my front door, and it's this girl that I used to go out with, yeah. And I've done a podcast with her and her mate. And Jefferson King is in the car driving. I goes downstairs to pick the bag out of the car, and I looked at Jeff King, and he looked like death warmed up. He looked like he was 9 stone, 8, 9 stone, a mess. A real bad mess. And I couldn't believe, all I wanted to do was get away from him, you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be wrapped around that shit what he was taking. As I said, I didn't know that Jefferson King was taking brown. You know, that's the worst drug you could ever take. It's, you know, and for Jeff to say that he took brown, fair play to him, because he didn't own up to the gun being put in the guy's mouth, but he owned up to taking brown. So I respect him for that, yeah? Regardless of whatever, yeah? But anyway, he said, Jeff, that he never knew me as such, only working in the club. Jeff knew me, he was my pal. One of my pals on the road, he was on crack, I was on crack. We used to meet quite a lot. He was the girls that I know, and this, that and the other, yeah? Anyway, I'm out of prison. I met a guy called Terry Haley. I was talking to Terry Haley's dad, Dennis Haley, yeah? Doing the demolition. So me and Terry Haley become pals. Terry Haley get me this flat, got me this, got me that, looks after me like a brother. Like a brother, mate. He looks after me, right? Never take liberties. Never do no drugs. Never do nothing. Do everything I can possibly do to stay nice with this guy, yeah? Then I hear that Jefferson King is come out of prison, so I've done a podcast about it saying that I will see him. A lot of people didn't believe, but I made arrangements to see Jefferson King at Hillingdon Station, yeah? So Terry Haley, don't forget Terry Haley's a millionaire. He owns big scrap firm. He's got houses everywhere. He has a massive great house in Beaconsfield. The key is absolutely minted. He doesn't need people like Jefferson King wrapped around him. It's not good for his image. Jefferson King coming out like that, even though everybody knows Jefferson from Gladiators, but he don't look good. But he don't care, Terry. It's about me making me happy, you know. So he done it for me. So I met Jeff at Hillingdon Station. Jeff went to the restaurant. We had a little drink, you know, and then we decided to go over. It's all, I've got about 6 or 7 videos, right? If you go through my videos on my YouTube, you'll find the videos with me and Jeff, right? This is well before, yeah? Jeff was talking about the gun being put in his mouth. This is what makes me laugh. He's denying it, but he's talking about it on the video. Anyway, let's forget about that in a minute. So Jeff now is out. He's got no money. He's got nothing. So we meet him. We take him for a meal. I'll give him some money. You know, mate, a couple of 300 quid. We go for dinner. We're talking. It's all in my videos. It's all in the videos. We're talking. Terry Haley now. We're talking about the gym. Terry Haley takes him to the gym here. Gives Jefferson King money. We've already been to dinner. We had a good dinner. It's all in the videos. Terry Haley takes him to the gym. And he said to Jefferson King, I think what you're talking about, doing personal trainer, is a good idea. If you want things like leg presses and other machines and all that, I'll get all that. Let's talk about it. I'll get all that. As long as we can, as long as at the end we get something out of it. He don't want nothing out of it, Terry. He's only joking, yeah? But he wants me to get better myself, and he wants me to help Jeff out, which I am. Jeff's saying, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll get that, we get this. Terry's all up for it. So then Terry gives him more money. I give Jeff more money. He's loving it, Jeff. Go to mid-dinner, more money, more money. But it got to a stage where all Jeff wanted was money. And Terry Haley, he can give him whatever. But Terry smelt a rat. He went, right. He don't want to do nothing, mate. All he wants to do is get money. Right. Whether or not Jeff, I'm not saying Jeff was on something, but he didn't look right anyway, right? So pulled away from Jeff, yeah? So after a while I felt a bit sorry for him. I've got to get hold of him, yeah? And he don't respond to anything. Don't forget, Jeff's already done podcasts with me. He's done videos with me explaining the gun, explaining everything about all what he's done. He ain't told Mr. Woodall yesterday anything about anything what I've got on the videos, yeah? About he was in the mafia in India and all this. He ain't said nothing like that. He ain't mentioned what's really upset me about Jeff. He is not mentioned Terry Haley. He's not mentioned me picking him up when he's out of prison. He's not mentioned anything like that. He's wiped his mouth of it as if it doesn't exist. Why? Why is he so embarrassed about what happened? He's just embarrassed, mate. He don't want to talk about that. You know, you've got a geezer called Terry Haley, mate, who's giving him everything, offered him a flat, everything. He's going to give him everything. But in the end, when me and Terry got together, we went, no, we don't want it, mate. He ain't interested. He ain't interested. Right? And he pulled a little stroke about these people who are going to join and we wanted a bit of money to this, that, and the other. And I thought, I smelt a rat, and we pulled away. Me and Terry pulled away, yeah. And I hadn't heard from Jeff since. Now and again, I heard that he was here, he was there. I was trying to get hold of him, but I couldn't get hold of him, yeah. And I thought he was back on his stuff, which I thought maybe he still might be. I don't know, yeah. But he didn't look too well when he done the interview, sweating like anything, yeah. I don't know, but he did come across really, really well, and I'm really proud of him for what he done, yeah. And I'm really proud if he gets his own channel on YouTube. I'm really proud not only he gets his own channel, that he gets this guy that's supposed to be helping him, that he goes with him and lets him help him. I only hope he does that, yeah. I hope it ain't just a bit of money to dart away, yeah. That's the only thing that guts me, that Jeff never mentioned my mate Terry Haley. Never mentioned the fact that we picked him up. Never to mention nothing. All he mentioned was that there wasn't no thing put in his mouth. That's all he mentioned. It was as if it was a plan, you know. It gutted me, mate. It gutted me the way he said it. I don't know, you know, it was just too much, mate, for me. I went, poor Jeff, why, mate? Why, you know? And to say that he done it for this, he done it for that, he doesn't know nothing about that, Jeff. You know, like, it's just, yeah, I don't know, you know, like, and the way Terry Haley looked after him, and I looked after him, and he does that to us. He isn't no mate of mine, and he can't be trusted, mate. Anybody that does that can't be trusted. You know what I mean? He can't be trusted. I'm just happy the way he come across on Mr. Woodall's podcast. He come across really well, but you know, I only hope that he does what he's going to do and don't go the other way. You know, he shocked me at what he said, and I'm quite upset with Jeff King. I don't want to see the guy. I don't want to lay my eyes on the guy. I don't really want to lay my eyes on this guy. He knows where I'm coming from, and I know where Jeff's coming from. Jefferson King is no fool, mate. Jefferson King can have a right fight, you know. He's in the Marines and everything. He ain't an idiot. He's not an idiot, you know. But the guy has got to get his act together and look at the consequences of what he's just said. Bang, bang, rail. Nice one.